can pretty much strike up a conversation with anybody at a car show.
Once you're a car guy, you're gonna end up dying a car guy. You're not gonna get away from it.
People pick houses that they live in because they suit their needs. That isn't that much different to me looking at a car.
It's what non-car people don't get. They see all cars as just 1.5 tons, 2 tons of wires, glass, metal and rubber. That's all they see. People like you or I know we have an unshakable belief that cars are living entities. Well, not a Toyota Corolla, obviously, but you can develop a relationship with a car, and that's what non-car people just don't get.
My name is Brandon Arpin. I am the head of marketing for Valvetronic Design, which is an exhaust company. And right here is my 1987 BMW 325 IS that I make content for on Instagram and TikTok. I'm in the modified sector of the automotive community. So, you know, making your car look nice, making it sound good, going out to car meets, hanging out with other people. I like working on my car. I'm not the best at it. I'm a YouTube mechanic in a sense, and me and my idiot friends will go to the driveway and work on our cars. But we do the best we can. I like working on the car. I like driving it. The looks that I get, everything is, it's just a good feeling. I love modifying cars. I got into my family is a car family. So my dad always had a bunch of cars. He still does. He has motorcycles. My grandfather, both sides of my family, both grandfathers love cars and motorcycles. They were into them super, super heavy. But my second word out of my mouth was car. The first one was, I think, dad. The second one was car. And when I was little, I used to beg my parents to take me to Hilltop Creamery and watch the cars go by. And I would try and name every single one. And keep in mind, I was 2 years old, probably even less than that at the time. And I was still just trying to name every car that went by. Once I turned 15, I got my Mustang. And that was the first time that I was like, I'm a car owner. I'm gonna, take care of this thing. After that, I ended up getting this BMW, which has been my pride and joy ever since. There's so many different aspects to car culture that it's hard to put a specific definition, because of course you have the racers, you have people who run the track, people who do stuff like me that do shows and meets. But if you were to categorize it into one thing, car culture is just doing what you love. There's people who are out there that, love doing stuff on boats, people that are into video games and technology. There's so many different hobbies. Car culture is a hobby, but it's, in my opinion, one of the best hobbies that you can have. It's just a large group of people. It's just people that love what they do. The first misconception is that barrier of entry, in a sense, where it's like some kid might be 16 years old and he just got his mom's hand-me-down Corolla and he's like, well, I can't go to the car meet because I don't have a cool car. It really doesn't matter as long as you're not like flaunting it like it's something cool and like revving it and just being a menace to society in that and ruining the meet. You can show up and you can learn so much by just being at that meet, walking around, seeing what other modifications people have on their cars, what other cars they have, what they're planning on doing to it, what they've learned. There's so many things that you can learn by just going out there and just walking around and seeing the cars, whether it's at a car meet, a fancy car show, like Audrain, for example. You can go to those shows, it doesn't matter what you have. And once you start learning and you get some money to start getting into the hobby for real, all those experiences will help you get into the communities. There are some parts of the car scene that I don't support, such as takeover culture, things like that. But being a car person is criminalized by the non-car people for sure. They're like, oh, why is this car loud? Like, why is it ride so rough? Like, all these things that us as car people, we want our car to ride rough. We want it to be hard to drive. We want it to be complicated, complex, and really feel the road, because we don't want to just go from point A to point B. We want to go to point A to point C, then back to point B to get that fun drive in. Most of us take the scenic route to places where there's curvy back roads or fun, smooth roads to go around and really like downshift, bang some gears to get to work. It's not a bad thing. It shouldn't be criminalized. It's just enjoyable for us. We don't want to have that numb feeling. For example, I manual swapped this car because it was automatic and I didn't enjoy driving it that much. Once this manual was in, it's so fun to drive. It's just more of an experience for me. My closest friends are people I met through cars. You know, we still hang out, we go through car stuff, and we do other things together as well. So it is a community. It's a great community.
My name is Ed Bernardo. I am owner-operator of EB3 Motorsports and P&E Competition Engines. At a real young age, third and fourth grade, I started running racing motocross, and I just understood engines. By 5th and 6th grade, I was redoing my motorcycle engines. By 15, I was building my buddies' Toyota trucks that were lifted, their motors. I was building small block 350s for buddies of mine. By the time I got my license, I got my first car, a 68 Camaro, which has kind of morphed into that. And I did everything on myself. We kind of have a saying around our shop with the race car guys, you know, race cars, break parts. If you're not ready to accept the fact that you're going to make horsepower, but you're also going to break parts, it's probably not the hobby for you. It's not a just, hey, I can pick up my book, order my part, bolt it on, and I'm good to go. The misconception is that. There's a lot to it, and especially to make it a super, super nice car. The car scene we would be in is kind of your drag race hot rod guys, and what they kind of go they do go hand in hand. You will see tons of the guys with the street rods and hot rods at the car show show up at our races to see us run stuff like this. It is quite a bit different than, say, the import and the drift culture and all that, but still car guys are car guys. There's stuff we learn from other style of racing that we'll apply and see if it works for us. You know, we'll do whatever it takes to go fast. Right now, the car culture is in a huge battle with the EPA, which I feel that we're pushing through and winning. SEMA brought all the different cultures together. Anybody knows SEMA down in Vegas, you've got the drift guys, the lowrider guys, the lifted truck guys, everybody's at SEMA. And the EPA, with their Going Green initiative, is trying to basically kill it. I mean, in the drag race community, they pretty much said anything newer than a 1990s model car that requires emissions could not be modified, even if you were just strictly taking to a racetrack and running it. It would basically kill that whole class, which the Superstock Showdown is one of the, or Supercar Showdown is one of the premier classes that people like at NHRA, because it's the old school adage, race on Sunday, sell on Monday. They go out, they race them. People see these awesome super street cars or super stock cars running in this class, and they're like, man, I love that car, and they go to the dealership and they buy a car. One thing that, you know, government stuff doesn't see is that's gonna affect it all the way down the chain. That's gonna affect people buying it for just having their everyday Mustang they wanna drive to work because they went to an NHRA race and they saw a Copo Camaro or a Cobra Mustang race. They love the car and they're like, man, I'm gonna go buy one of those. Bottom line, EPA doesn't realize racers will do what we gotta do. Oh, you can't get parts? All right, we'll make our parts. You can't stop it. So why would you wanna stop something that's helping the big three, Dodge, Chevy, and Ford, who anybody that doesn't realize the three companies in the United States are a huge part of the economy in the United States. Car culture is its own culture. You know, you're either in it and you're a gearhead, as we would call it, or you don't understand it. It's huge. It's definitely something that's not going to go away. It doesn't matter what country you're in. I've met guys from the UK. I've met guys from Australia. Guys I've done stuff with from Dubai. And once you're a car guy, you're going to end up dying a car guy. You're not going to get away from it.
Hey, my name is Nick Bordanka. I'm the owner and operator of Apollo Customs, and I drive a 2015 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Apollo Customs is mainly vehicle customization. I do mainly work in vinyl wrapping, and I do custom decals, stickers, vehicle lettering for commercial companies, rally liveries, pretty much any way that you could think of wanting to customize your car and make it look and stand out, I can do it. I think 2017, I had just gotten my license and I was looking to buy a car, and after doing some digging, I landed on a 2012 Dodge Challenger SXT that I found on Craigslist. Me and my dad went and bought it. And after that, that just opened up a whole can of worms, and I've just been going even deeper down the rabbit hole in the car culture ever since then. Car culture in itself is just really a way to kind of bring people together who all have like a common shared interest. And it can be, some people's kind of escape for if they don't have any other kind of hobbies, or maybe they don't have a lot of family or friends that they can hang out with. You can, anybody can show up to a car meet and instantly just start connecting with other people, talking about their cars, all hanging out and having a good time. I'd consider myself pretty knowledgeable about cars, especially muscle cars, but I definitely don't know everything. But I'm always welcoming to speak to people about cars, even if they maybe don't know as much, or if they're trying to get information. I think a lot of times some people will see people that are really into cars or know a whole bunch and kind of think it's intimidating to talk to them, that they may get talked down on if they don't have a super nice car or a really expensive car. That's really not the case. I feel like, especially at car shows or whatever, you could show up in just about anything and people will still talk to you and hang out, and no one's going to be making fun of you. I think a common misconception is that a lot of illegal activity happens at street takeovers and stuff. And that's really just a couple bad eggs in a whole bunch there. There's a lot of people that are into cars and like modifying cars and going to car shows and stuff that aren't doing anything wrong. They follow all the rules, whatever they got to do. But obviously there's, just like anything, there's a couple of people that kind of can spoil all the fun for everybody else by doing some things like street takeovers or anything that obviously the police aren't too happy with. I never knew really where to go to a car show if I wanted to or whatever, and I had started posting pictures of my car on Instagram, and I actually had one of my really close friends now just message me out of the blue and say, hey, sweet car, I have a Challenger too, you want to come to this car show? And I think that's a really positive aspect of it, the people that you can find in your area and reach out to. I think a lot of people that are into the automotive industry are really deep in it and really obsessed, and pretty much everything that they do revolves around cars. I think a lot of people have other hobbies, and unless they talk about it, you may not know. But if you meet a person that's into cars, you're definitely gonna know just from speaking with them. Their car is getting brought up probably within the first 5 minutes of talking to them. The best part of car culture would definitely be the people that you meet. Pretty much all of my really close friends at the moment I met about 4 or 5 years ago, just when I got my first car. And started attending car shows and car meets, and all those people that I first met just randomly one day at car shows or wherever they happen to be are all pretty big parts of my life at the moment. Every single day, from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to sleep, I'm doing something with cars.
My name is Noah. I've got a 1990 Mazda Miata, and like to think that I have the world's worst car collection. Cars are a much bigger part of my life than they are the average person, I suppose. Cars are, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what do I want to do today? Oh, it's probably something car related. I like driving around. Most people think of a car as an appliance, like a microwave or whatever, but it's usually the second most expensive purchase you make. And you spend quite a lot of time driving, so I try to make it fun when I can. I do things a little differently, and I buy cars even that normal people nor car people would buy. Car culture to me is an interesting one because I think everybody has their own definition of it. It's a way to network and make memories and have fun. You know, it could be for business. You know, you can meet people that are also into cars, and that's kind of like a common avenue for you guys to start speaking and whatnot. I think a common misconception about the car community would be that they like causing a nuisance or enjoy like disturbing people. I deal with that even with my neighbors, and I don't really have anything particularly loud. And I suppose I look at it like if you've got a neighbor that has a saxophone maybe or something like that, you know, some sort of instrument, and they're constantly riffing away and going off and doing their thing. Like, man, it's kind of annoying, but like, he must really like the way it sounds and whatnot. Well, to me, I mean, you know, a car really isn't any different than an instrument. People pick houses that they live in because they suit their needs. That isn't that much different to me looking at a car. There's also the group of people that do, I guess, takeover style things and burnouts on the street and donuts and drifting and crashing into people, and they're all drunk at 2 in the morning and driving like crazy. And, you know, it's one of those things that goes viral and a lot of people end up seeing that. And if you don't know anything about cars, like, oh God, like that's terrible. But I also agree with them that it's terrible. You know, it's not like I don't do that. And I think most people that are into cars would agree with that. My idea of having fun in my car is, you know, going on like a windy little back road and just kind of cruising around, you know, putting the top down, maybe listening to some music, going to Newport, or just, you know, driving to the beach, hanging out, whatever. Like, you know, you enjoy your car. You know, a lot of people, like I was saying earlier, look at a car, say, as a microwave or a toaster oven or something, and it's human nature to want to be efficient. You know, I want the most efficient, I want the best at this, I want the best at that, you know, highest gas mileage, highest whatever. And like, sure, I agree with that, and that's fantastic. But I want something that's fun. You know, can I put a bedroom set in it? No. Can I put more than one passenger in it? No. But it's fun. Eventually you get to a point where you're not really like, this machine isn't really, to me, just a car. It's more than that. It might sound ridiculous, but it feels like an extension of myself. And I've had cars that make 700-800 wheel horsepower, and I find myself coming back to a couple $1,000 Miata.